guys, it's been a little while since I did a video. I've had my lowrider for about 3 weeks and a few days, and so much has happened. I've been very busy with it and also with work and life, but I figured I'll do a video, just an update of what's been happening. So first I'll just say, you know, when my last video ended, I had just gotten this inspected, and I was pretty excited about my new bike, and since then I'm just over the moon. I mean, over the moon about this bike. I had some concerns in the beginning with fitment, and that's all been taken care of. My lumbar pad on the seat did exactly what I needed. I ended up replacing the stock foot pegs, which were just those round rubber things that Harleys come with, and I put on the Harley pegs from their Slipstream collection, which happened to match the grips that the previous owner put on here. But even that aside, they fit perfect. I got the pegs adjusted just the way I need them for my feet, and I can ride highway, local, whatever, and I don't feel like my feet are gonna blow off the bike or anything. Just great. So the fitment has been great. I did a little maintenance. The bike has ABS, and the fluid probably, I don't know how old it was, but you're supposed to do it every 2 years with the ABS, or you could have ABS failure. So why mess around? I did it. $5 of fluid and about an hour of labor, if that, in my garage. That's done. But the big thing was tuning the bike. Not something I expected to have to do. When I test rode it, I heard it pop a couple of times, and I knew from my previous experience on my last bike, that one had an aftermarket exhaust, a high flow intake, and no tuner. It didn't pop, but the spark plugs indicated it was running really lean, and there was positive proof that there were problems happening on that engine if I didn't get it tuned. So I used a small little micro EFI tuner from Fuel Moto. It worked out good. But on this bike, I plan to have it a long time, so I wanted to get a better tuner with more features. And so, you know, looking at the bike, it has the Vance & Hines aftermarket pipes. It didn't appear to have a high flow intake, but as it turns out, when I took the stock air filter cover off, there was a Harley-Davidson ventilator filter element. Now, the ventilator element is better than the stock element, which kind of chokes the bike, but it's not quite up there with like the K&N style that you oil and everything. But it was still technically considered a high flow filter. So I was like, wow, this bike needs tuning. And so I spent $4 on a Power Vision tuner, which I thought would be a real nice tuner to have. I could have gone a little less with the Vance & Hines Fuel Pack, but for not too much more, the Power Vision just seemed like a better choice. So anyway, when I went to tune the bike with the Power Vision, I couldn't. I got a message that the ECM couldn't be unlocked. And as it turns out, this bike was already tuned using a tuner called a Master Tune by a company called TTS. TTS stands for the Turbo Shop, and they're the company that actually made the tunes for Harley in the very beginning of time. I guess when they switched to fuel injection, or I'm not sure what, but TTS has been around since the beginning. So great. So my bike was locked. I couldn't use the Power Vision, and I didn't have very many great options in front of me. My options were buy a TTS tuner for about $500, which I did not want to do. or pull out my ECM and ship it to TTS in California. And when you factor in expedited shipping, insurance, I'd be without my bike for probably a week to 10 days. Pretty disappointing to have that experience. So this all was discovered on a Friday night, and I was stewing over it all weekend. I called my salesperson and I explained the situation. You know, my bike's locked, and I asked if there was any way he could put me in touch with the previous owner. I wasn't expecting a lot, but much to my great joy, on Monday morning I got a call from my dealer, my salesperson. Hey, come on down and get your tuner. That's right, he got in touch with the previous owner. I went down, and there was the Master Tune device sitting there in a box with my VIN number written on it. So all I ended up having to do was buy a cable. I was able to return the Power Vision for full credit, which was really nice. I highly recommend Fuel Moto. Those guys are awesome. And I was able to, by the following weekend, plug into my bike and see what's going on. Now, I will say this, the TTS Master Tune is a very complex piece of equipment. You can do just about anything with this tuner. I mean, you can build an engine with just about any mod you can think of, and this tuner has a way to handle it. But you've got to know what you're doing. That's like saying, you know, an airplane has controls to do every kind of maneuver, but you got to know how to fly. It came with a 70-page manual, which I read through about 3 different times, and it's got charts and fuel mixtures and words I never use in my day-to-day life. And it took a lot of reading and some exploring on forums and such. So I tried a couple different tweaks to the tune. I could tell the previous owner had tried to get the popping out, but he just didn't go all the way with it. And finally, I found what I felt was the right spot with the right adjustments. And I rode home from work the other day, 50, 60 miles, through all kinds of different riding conditions. Highway, country, stop and go, and it never made a peep. Now, I was super happy with that. Now, I can make it pop, like if I do something I don't normally do, like something like that. And quite honestly, I could probably go in there and tune that right out. But I don't ride like that, you know, and just normal riding, and even hammering on it a little bit, no issues, you know, no popping. So I'm very happy about that. It used to be just shifting gears, I would hear it, and I don't hear it anymore. So that's what I've been spending most of my time on. And then the last thing, which I just did tonight, was I put on a Screaming Eagle air intake with the K&N style filter. Okay, here's a look at that intake. There's the Screaming Eagle logo on it, and probably can't tell, but the black is kind of like a carbon fiber look, and then chrome around the rest of it. And there's a little bit of chrome on top, and then you see the intake element, K&N filter. They come red. I have some blue oil, so when it's ready for its first cleaning, I'll do it blue so at least it matches. But that's what it looks like. I think it looks a heck of a lot better than the stock intake. It doesn't stick out near as much. You won't hit it. I won't hit it with my knee, that sort of thing. So I'm really happy with how it looks. And that actually does allow a little more air into the system. So I may need to go in and just tweak that tune one more time. But other than that, and the reason why I got it was because I already have the tuner, I already have the pipes, I may as well finish the stage one and just go with the high flow intake. I really like the way it looks, and I like the filter element that you could just wash every now and then and re-oil. That's what I had on my previous bike. So, and it just looks so much better than the stock intake. So I was able to do that, and the pegs, and use the money that I thought I was going to spend on a tuner to do that. So that's all done. So right now, I'm done. It's May. The only thing I could think of to do to this bike the rest of this year was squirt a little lubricant in the throttle cables, because I don't know when it was done last. Other than that, everything on the checklist has been done. And I am set to ride clear through till winter at this point. So I'm super comfortable. The bike is running fabulous. It looks really great with the options that it had on it already, and the few little things that I did. Everything has just been great. The windshield is so much better than my old one. There's no buffeting like I used to have on my old bike. And about the only thing I need to do at this point is wash it. So wash it and put gas in it. So that is where things are. I'm going to clean it up nice on the weekend to do like a walk around and let you hear the exhaust and stuff. But other than that, I am very pleased with how everything went. It did take some intestinal fortitude to get through the last few weeks. I was super nervous about buying this. It was not cheap, but the things that I thought I could do financially to offset it, I was able to do, and everything in that area worked out just fine. And so, you know, I did imagine if I just kept my Sportster and didn't do this, how would I feel a month later? And I thought, you know, I'd be kicking myself. And so here I am almost a month later, and I'm glad I'm not kicking myself. So that's where things are, guys. I hope you enjoy my little first world problems with my tuner and what my intake looks like. But in my little world of riding, there's peace in the universe. There's all kinds of other stuff in life that I have to deal with on a daily basis, but my bike ain't one of them. So this little test ride tonight was just to put the new air intake through its paces. I'm gonna head home and call it a night. I hope everybody's doing well. Till next time.